Universal Family. I'm Cloxon, and today's video is the art of detachment. Y'all know how these go. I only make these videos strictly based off of where my life is at the moment to reflect on the act of, whatever video I'm making. So today, I'm reflecting on the aspect of detachment, and I wanted to share that with y'all. And so that's what this video is going to be about, all right? The art of detachment. What does the word mean? Break it down, pros and cons. We're not going to be biased here, and then we're just going to go straight into it, all right? So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Make sure y'all like the video. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff, all right? So we'll get straight into it. Let's get it. Before we start today's video, I would like to give a big thanks to our sponsors, the Cloxon Podcast. On this podcast, they talk about entertainment, business, spirituality, and more. So make sure you go check them out. They drop new episodes every week on Spotify. So tap in. Okay, so what does detachment mean? The definition of detachment is the action of detaching from something, making a separation. That's what detachment means, making a separation. And so what I want to go into with this video is detachment on multiple aspects, okay? So we talk about physical detachment, even spiritual detachment, okay? So detachment goes both ways, and there's levels to detachment, okay? And we're going to talk about the pros of detachment and the cons of detachment, all right? So this is the art of detachment. So let's get straight into it. And this is obviously from my personal perspective and based off of things that I collect. So let's go straight into it, right? In order to really go into the art of detachment, I feel like we need to go into the aspect of attachment. Okay, so attachment. It's real easy to get attached to things, especially in this world, whether it's people or physical objects or even clothes. We all get attached to things very easy. And that's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, because like I always preach, we have to be at balance with ourselves, right? So with the art of detachment, it's basically there for us to reflect and realize sometimes we're too attached to things and we make irrational decisions based off of our attachment to them. So let's go into like some of the pros of being detached from something, okay? Especially people. And in fact, let me just run down a list of things that you kind of want to be detached from. And I'm not saying all the way detached, but just have a level of detachment from these things. So let's start off at the top. Personal relationships, okay? Family, friends, lovers. You want to have a certain level of detachment from each and every one of these people so you're able to make better decisions, So if you're attached to them completely, 100%, too much, it could negatively impact your life because that's a whole other person outside of you that you cannot control, but you're completely attached to them. So if anything happens to them, good or bad, it directly impacts you. And it could be a more harmful way depending on how attached you are to them. So you want to practice a certain level of detachment when it comes to people, okay? Money, okay? You don't want to be too attached to money because you're not going to know how to use it properly. You know what I'm saying? So money, people, money, desires, whether it's physical or not physical. When I say that, I mean like, video games, I was really attached to video games for the longest time, but I'm learning detachment from those things, and I love that. So, but you got to learn a certain level of detachment from things like that. All type of little desires that you'd like to do that might not be super healthy for you, or you might be too attached to them. Learn the art of detachment in those areas to be able to have a safe medium and a control over what you put yourself into, because you're a very powerful person. And so anytime you put too much thought or energy into something, that becomes your world. You know what I'm saying? So if it's outside of yourself, that's very dangerous. Okay. And so, yeah, we're going to go into the pros though first, right? The pros of detachment. So when you're able to detach from something, and I don't mean completely, but just to a certain level, you're able to be at peace, with yourself. When you're detached, regardless of what happens, good or bad, you're still at peace. You have your own peace that you worry about, and regardless of what's going on in the world, you're at peace. So that's a pro when you practice detachment. Okay, not too many things can bother you. And I guess I want to talk about how we even get to that level of detachment. Like, how do you practice the art of detachment? And I would say, don't always have certain thoughts on your mind. I would definitely say that because I'm big on like the mind thing, and we manifest our own reality. So if you're really attached to something, that means you're always thinking about it. That means it's always in your cipher, in your reality. So the first thing to do when you want to practice detachment is to stop thinking about it so much. Whether you gotta distract yourself or do some other thing to not consciously think about it all the time, that's gonna slowly practice the art of detachment. So if it's a person, try to talk to them a little bit less. If you feel like you're super attached to that person, try to talk to them just a little bit less. If you're, attached to a video game or something, just try to play it a little bit less, so you can slowly ease off and create a healthy balance between that, all right? And even with money, if you're super attached to money, try to be a little more aloof with it, so you can understand it better and learn how to leverage it and all that kind of different stuff, all right? So, yeah, just don't always think about that one thing that you're super attached to. Give it a break. I'm not saying let go, but I'm saying do it less. But the third one would be to learn to let go. Because some things that you're attached to aren't good for you. You have to learn to let them go. That goes for relationships. That goes for all things really, physical and spiritual. Sometimes you need to completely detach and learn to actually let go. And most people can't do that. Myself included, there's a lot of things in my life that I thought I could never let go of, but I even surprised myself, like, wow, I actually let go of that. That's crazy. So learn to let go. And yeah, that's how you practice learning the art of detachment. And once you have achieved that, the pros of that is you're able to live in the moment. You're not always stressed about, oh, well, this might happen, that might happen, because you're detached from things. So regardless of what happens, I'm living my life regardless. You see what I'm saying? And so you're able to live in the moment all the time at a certain level of peace, which is really nice. Okay. And then you also stop blaming yourself for things that happen. That's not in your control. Like if something happens to somebody else and you're always blaming yourself because of that, when you're detached from people, you realize that everybody has their own destiny. So if somebody fails, even if you're next to them, that's not necessarily your fault. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has their own destiny and the way they react to things. So when you detach from them, you realize that you don't have to keep blaming yourself for things because it's not your fault. Everybody has their own individual destiny and mistakes that they have to make, whether it's good or bad, and whether you were there or not, it's not your fault. But you only learn that level of wisdom when you're detached, because when you're so connected to everybody and you're always thinking like, oh my God, it's my fault. He said that because I did this. No, that's not how the universe works. Okay, so you'll stop blaming yourself, and then also you won't feel trapped, because a lot of people feel trapped when they're attached to things, especially like desires and things that aren't the best for them, but they're just so attached. But they in the back of their mind they don't want to be so attached, but they are, and they just can't help it, and so they feel trapped in their own circle, right? So for those type of people, really practice detachment to get away from that, so you don't feel trapped in your own mind and body and life. Okay, you don't want to feel trapped in your own life. That's a terrible feeling. So focus on that. Okay. And then, yeah, those are basically some of the basic pros of practicing detachment. And then we're gonna go into the cons now, right? So if let's say you're practicing too much detachment, like you're just so detached from the whole world, you don't care about nothing, and whatever happens, my whole family could die right now, I don't care. If you're that detached, you become emotionless. Okay, emotionless. I think that's the correct word, but that's not good. Okay, if you're too detached, then you start not feeling things and start not even reacting to the things around you, and that's not what you want. You want us to be able to react. You just want to know how to react. You don't want to not react at all. That's not the goal. Okay, it's not about what you do, it's how you do it. So when you detach completely from everything, you start to become dull and numb, and you also miss out on life's opportunities that come by, when you're just detached from everything. So if something good happens in your life, you won't know. Something bad happens in your life, you won't know, but at the same time, you won't know when something's good happens in your life. So you don't ever want to be completely detached from all things physical, spiritual, everything. You don't want to be completely detached from that, because that is an imbalance, all right? And, I talk about balance all the time, so you got to be balanced when it comes to this stuff. So that's my perspective on the pros and cons of that, and why you want to definitely practice detachment, because I know a lot of people are attached to things, me included. So I'm not talking bad about y'all. I'm just like, no, practice detachment, okay? And when you do that, your mind will just be able to think on a different plane. Like, even with friendships and relationships, when you're detached from them from a certain level, you're able to make, more the decisions that are really how you feel. But you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I explain this? You're able to make honest decisions. You know, honest. You're able to express yourself more honestly because you're not so detached to that person to where you feel like if I say this, they might react this way, and you're just so involved in every action they do that you just assume so much. You end up being a different person just to please that person because you're so attached to them. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able to detach and to just be your true self. And then that's the best type of relationship you can have with people. And even when it goes to things that aren't inside relationships, you know what I'm saying? If you're so detached, I mean, if you're so attached, you actually limit yourself when you're so attached. So, because you need to be able to transform and change, because the universe is all about changing. The one thing that's constant in this universe is change. So, if you're so attached to one thing, when the change happens, you're not going to want to move because you're so attached. So, you have to be able to detach and grab onto something else and keep it moving. Okay, and that's basically it. Um, yeah, those are the basic aspects of the art of detachment. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank y'all for watching. Like the video, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'll be making more of these videos. Oh, another update, y'all. I'm gonna start putting these educational videos on a new platform called the Clockson Academy. Okay, so Clockson's Academy is gonna be all the educational content that I upload, and I think it's gonna slowly stop going on to the main channel. It's gonna go over there, and I'll let y'all know how to get to that and whatnot in the near future. But that's gonna be my next stage of development when it comes to a platform that I'm working on. Okay, because I kind of want to separate my content and go more towards music right now in my life. But I'm not gonna just drop the educational stuff that I was playing because a lot of people enjoy it. You know, they say it helps them a lot. So I'm not gonna stop that, but I'm just gonna morph it to a different platform. All right. So want to let y'all know about that. Look out for Clockson Academy coming soon. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace.